Hello, hello, beautiful beings. Hello from Brazil. Hello from northeast of Brazil, from this serene place in the wild nature. So I can show you even. I hope you can enjoy the sounds of the birds. But look at this. Look at these trees, the palm trees. The nature here is insane. Is so dense. And here's, by the way, my house for now. So it's all eco construction. So it has such a perfect regulation, thermoregulation, for example. So the temperature is always the same. Or when it's hot outside, it stays really cool and nice. And then when it's a little bit colder, it gives you proper, for that conditions here, right? When the temperature never goes, I think, below 20. 20 is like the coldest here. So yeah, I just left from Poland, where I spent past almost 6 months, I think, something like that. And most of the time I was living in the city, in the capital itself. And by the way, let me know if you can hear me well, because it shows that the internet is just perfect. But it's the first live that I'm doing from here. And I even went outside, as you could see. I went outside from my house, and it seems like the connection, the signal is even better from here. So that's really good information. So today I wanted to start with Q&A. So I have a few questions that you asked me already in the comments, or some people sent me the questions in DMs, but also feel free to ask the question here. Of course, guys, it's not that easy actually to answer the questions or speaking about something live and then answering the questions, reading what you are writing live. So sometimes I can't look at them in the moment when you send them, so I look a little bit later. And then, of course, if any question I don't answer, then I just do it during next live or in the comments. So no worries, your question will be addressed for sure. I got some great questions already. Today I wanted to talk casually about embodiment, well-being, travels, Brazil itself, living in the wild nature, all my favorite topics. Guys, I'm in the paradise. If it comes to fruit, there is infinite amount of coconut water here. Actually, where I live, maybe you've seen already in the stories, to go to the beach, you need to pass through the infinite field of coconuts, trees, palms. So that's really, for me, this is the embodiment of paradise. This is already happening here. And the place itself is an eco-village, so it is built with the respect for the nature as much as possible. They use a lot of systems, ecological systems. We are pretty much self-sustainable here, self-sufficient. The whole thing is built sustainably, and we are here pretty much self-sufficient as much as I know. So the water comes from the ground, there are solar panels, there is compost. So for example, for me, I mostly eat just things from the market. We have a market here 3 times a week. So I my waste is only organic waste. So it's just so much things that you can really sync with the nature, and this is really serene and beautiful life. And I feel like coming back home, because I spent already in this village half a year ago. In total, I spent 1 year and 7 months in Brazil, mostly living in rural areas. The other place was the other place was an island, actually not so far from here where I am. I mostly spend my time in the state of Bahia, which is known for the most beautiful paradise-like beaches. So I was living on one island where also there was no car traffic, for example. So, you know, it's a completely different dimension of living. It's like entering a portal, and you can really immerse yourself fully. And this is what I'm doing, because also coming here, you know, it was already in Poland when I left, it was already close to 0 degrees Celsius. So for me it was really cold already, and I was starting to really be like freezing cold. So it was such a big relief to arrive. Even I had 3 flights, right? So first from Warsaw to Madrid, then I had a layover, and then from Madrid to São Paulo. And arriving to São Paulo to 29 degrees was just like, such a relief, such a good feeling. And then from São Paulo to Salvador in Brazil, in Bahia. And then already I had to take a ferry and then a bus and then arrive here with local transport. So it's from Poland, from Europe, it would take probably 2 days for you to arrive. I took it slower because I come here to live, so I took a stop in a nearby town to arrange myself to come here, even though I have everything. So once I'm here, I don't go anywhere. Maybe only in the first time I arrived, I spent straight away 2 months without leaving, and only I went out because I wanted to see the whales. So there was this trip that when the whales are coming here, you can go and see them. It's such an amazing experience. And then so I had to go to this town, which is 2 hours walk. I mean, you can go by car, which is probably 45 minutes, but you can also walk on the beach, which is a beautiful, amazing walk to do. And you arrive more or less in 2 hours to this town. So yeah, I spent 2 months straight just here. Once you come, you don't want to leave, and there are so many stories for the people who came here for a week, for 10 days, for 2 weeks, for a month, and then you speak to them here after 6 months or 8 months or a year, you know. So the same was for me. First I came to take a course. It was supposed to be for 10 days, and then I stayed for 6 months. And now I already know that I'm staying long term. At least a few months. We'll see. I will see. Of course, there's many ideas. We'll see how everything arranged. So the place is open to host you here as well. So if you will be tempted enough by watching all my stories, by watching all my content from this beautiful, the most beautiful place on the entire earth, then contact me and I will host you here, and I will guide you through the most magnificent experience that will elevate your well-being to like next level. Okay, so following this introduction, let me go through the questions. I have it old school way on a paper. And by the way, today I don't have a shirt. Of course I brought it with me, but I'm not wearing it. I just felt like wearing some nice summer clothes. But I have my triad here. So in case I have my thing to show, my help to show you, and to remind that everything that I'm talking here about is about how to enhance your body-mind-soul connection, and how to understand it, and how to really live it, and how to make it sustainable, how to make it sufficient. And I had a few questions also about how to implement all the things in life, especially in busy schedules. So let me start with this question actually. How can people begin incorporating holistic well-being principles into their routines without feeling overwhelmed? Great questions. This is actually what I am really passionate about. And my answer is, in one word, optimization. Optimization. That's the solution for all your problems. And okay, how to explain it? What it really means, because it doesn't mean multitasking. No, it's not the idea of multitasking, because actually holistic well-being and embodiment, which is about expanding the capacity of sensing, which is about expanding body awareness, which is expanding awareness on all the levels possible, which is about expanding the consciousness. It's everything but multitasking, because multitasking is exactly the opposite of what we are doing here, of what I am talking about, what I am doing. So optimization is the idea behind holistic living. And it happened to me beautifully here. I will give you an example. So it's beautiful place and birds singing. Yes. I'm happy you can enjoy it. This is exactly for the comment that fits right in what I want to say right now. So when I arrived, I needed the time to land and to adjust again, also because of the temperature, but also, like living in the nature, in the wild nature. It is a completely different thing from living in the city. There is a completely different feeling, completely different way of sensing and experiencing everything. I am already used to it from the 2 years that I spent living like that. So I felt like my landing here this time was really smooth and easy. But still, I had to adjust again, because I already got used to the comfort of the city, which is extremely comfortable. But I felt closed in the four walls, in the four concrete walls, and I couldn't do it really anymore. I knew that I'm going, so I was really happy, and it only proved me that I want to live like this, because this is so much more in synchronicity of what I want to do, how I want to live. So how to implement and how to start living with holistic well-being principles without being overwhelmed. So what happened to me here is that, of course, I still do practices. So I have my morning routine, I have my evening routine, I have any other routines and practices. This is like my support, this is like my base. But I am doing this for many, many, many years, and it is really embodied for me. So what is happening already for me, what started to happen already some longer time ago, is that my whole life became a practice, which is, again, it became more in union. So I don't feel that much strong of a need to do the practice itself. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes I need, sometimes I don't need. But what happened here, since even my room, my suite, I feel like I'm outside all the time. I can feel the air. I am so much better in the synchronicity with the time, with the light, with the natural light time, which gives me better hormonal regulation. And also being outside gives this certain way of tiredness in the evening, at night, that after the whole day where I'm doing my life, when I need to go to the market, I'm meeting somebody, I do some work here, I go to the beach, and I come back and I'm gone. I want to sleep, but I'm not exhausted. I'm just so nicely tired that I can just go into really good quality sleep. And I don't feel any overwhelm anymore, because I don't feel like I have to do something. It's actually a pleasure. It's actually a pleasure to incorporate things that are enhancing my well-being, that are enhancing my state, that are enhancing my vitality. And this is just such a pleasure. And so yeah, this is one of the things. Mindset. Actually, if I would start my whole well-being journey and my health journey again, I would primarily start from the mindset, because this would make it so much easier. You have to have your strong why. If you don't have your strong why, then you will gonna give up, because we are wired for comfort. Human beings are wired for comfort. Once you realize it, you know that actually putting yourself out of your comfort zone needs to become a routine, needs to become your habit. So how to create a habit? By repetition. And then if you know your why, if you start to prioritize right things, then it's just easy. So to not to feel overwhelmed is to switch your mindset so that you can really feel how effortless it is for you. So step by step, of course, how to do it? Do little things. Go step by step with little things. First, do 5 minutes of pranayama. Do 5 minutes of some breathing exercises. Do 5 minutes of embodiment practice, of somatic practice, of free movement expression, of 10 minutes of asana practice. Really, sometimes I do 15 minutes or 5 or 10, whatever I have, I use this. When I'm traveling, great. I mean, during sitting on a plane, sitting in a bus, sitting in whatever, if you're not driving, of course. So if you are a passenger, so much time. Optimization. This is different from multitasking, because if you are a passenger on a vehicle, then you can choose what you are doing, right? So instead of scrolling on your phone, go into meditation. You have 5-10 minutes, whatever, if you are, whatever your time is, on the metro, subways. This is what I was doing always. So it's not that you have to change your whole life. Gradually it will happen. Do whatever you feel ready to, and then you'll never feel overwhelmed, because you only will be doing things that you are ready for, and then it's going to become your habit, it's going to become so natural for you, and therefore effortless. So optimization, that's the word. And of course, how to do it exactly, I'm teaching you in all my programs, and if you have specific issues with specific thing, a consultation is great. So the holistic well-being lifestyle consultation, and if you really want to reprogram your whole life, then go into the mentoring. That's and then the membership, of course, if you want to have the people how you say it? Like-minded. Okay. Guys, my head is just like, I'm speaking 3 languages every day, and sometimes it's happening like that. So yeah, like-minded people in the membership, where you can enhance your well-being daily, and where you will receive the proper why, the motivation every day. Okay, next question, how does movement, like your free movement expression practice, enhance our connection to our inner self? Okay, great question. So it's all about the why. It's all about the intention. So when the intention is to connect, and in the free movement expression practice, the principle is through the body, drop out of your mind and connect to the soul. And then when you are connected to the soul, then it's going to influence and help you to expand in the mind and in the body. So, excuse me. So, how it is doing exactly? Because you are connecting with your intuition. So through the movement, through this specific conditions, through this specific environment that is being created in Victoria's holistic well-being spaces, you can connect with your intuition, and therefore you can start expanding. And this is what is your inner self. So this is how I want to answer this question right now. If you have any specific angle to this, then you can follow up with another question. Okay, so there was also a question, how to start holistic well-being embodiment journey. Again, start from your mindset. That's the most important. Start from your mindset and start to prioritize things. This is very connected with how to not to become overwhelmed when you do it. So because in the beginning especially, this is what I was going through a lot. I felt like, because I am a recovering perfectionist as well. So, I was like, oh my God, I need to have it right now, everything, all in the same time. And it's not like this. Of course, even now I don't have it all figured out, but I have it figured out to the degree when I'm really relaxed in my routines, in my life, in the essence, in the satisfaction, because I know already what I want, how I want it, and then I can actually relax, and I can let go of much more control, and which is making me more relaxed, and therefore more expansion can happen. And the whole thing is about expanding always more. So start from your mindset, know what to prioritize, know your why, and then you will go step by step. So for example, 9-week mentoring program is what is giving you it's like a manual for you to start living in a holistic well-being lifestyle. Okay, next question. Do you have a favorite breathing or meditation technique? And can you share some simple daily practices to connect the body, mind, and soul, especially for those with busy schedules? Okay, so it's all about the busy schedules and how to not to become overwhelmed. And I get it, because especially also if you are in the city, if you are new to this might feel like it's so much, right? But do you still watch TV? Do you still scroll unnecessary things on Instagram or on YouTube or TikTok? If the answer is yes, then here where your time is, for example, because this is not giving you any rest, this is not giving you any value, real value, right? So of course, except my profile. So yeah, go to my profile, and this is the only thing you should do on Instagram, and then you go and practice this and you go and live it. So search for these little moments where you can have time, right? When you find time and you use this time in a valid way for you. What are my favorite exercises? It changes, but the simplest answer is that the simple the better. So I'm all for simplicity. So for example, the breathing. Long inhale for the same count as your exhale. So for example, for 4, you inhale, let's do it right now. And you feel your lower belly, you feel your ribs, you expand them. Then you feel your lungs and the shoulders, you feel yourself really fully. So you inhale through the nose for 4, and then you exhale for 4. So this is the simplest one. This is probably my favorite one because I can do it anywhere. So whenever I feel maybe some anxiety, maybe some uncertainty, when I'm not certain of something, maybe some doubt is arriving, this is what I'm doing. I'm grounding myself in the breath. This is the most powerful. And then you can close your eyes. When you're standing, you can imagine yourself being grounded on your feet that are giving you support, and then you breathe fully and you expand. You focus purely on your breath and you exhale. So with inhale, you feel like you are filling yourself with the rejuvenating energy, and then with the exhale, you let go of everything that doesn't serve you, all the heavy stuff, all the worry, of the anger, of the anxiety, whatever you are needing to clear. So this is my favorite one. And then pretty much every pranayama, depending, because Nadi Shodhana, for example, the alternating breath, of course now I did it quickly. You should do it for at least every inhale exhale for 4 counts. This is great for balancing. Then Kapalabhati, which is the this is purifying and enhancing the fire. So if you want to energize, then go for it. Then there is Brahmari, which is with the, you inhale and with exhale you do the sound. So yeah, this is again with the vibration caused by the sound. It is massaging your brain, it's massaging your whole system. So there is many of those. This is again if you join regular classes, if you join the membership, if you join the mentoring, you will know so much more of those practices, and then you will be able to choose and actually create your own variation, because this is what I'm doing right now. I'm not following anymore any specific schedule, any specific practices. I use from all the practices, from my dancing experience, from the somatic practices that I know of. I trained also Alexander technique. I have experience in Feldenkrais. What else? Body mind centering, different techniques of dance, and meeting with all those beautiful people, and of course yoga. Meeting all the people, all the teachers throughout my whole life always brought so much impact and influence on me that now I'm immersing myself in my own practice, and this is the ultimate goal. So this is again the first question, is that your life is becoming like a practice, which means that your whole life is so conscious that from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep, you are aware, and actually you are expanding your consciousness, your sensitivity, your awareness the whole time, which is, for me, this is truly holistic life. So there is again no separation between practice and not practice. So, because it doesn't make sense. It's just completely waste of time if you only go to whatever practice you go to for 1 hour a day. Maybe you go for 1 hour a week, 2 hours, doesn't matter really. If it's still separated, that, oh my god, now okay, I mobilize myself and I go for this 1 hour and I do my all, but then I go back home and I come back to everything that I do, and then I eat unhealthy stuff, I eat unconsciously, I communicate unconsciously, I consume violent, cruel content. Then, guys, of course, it's better to do it than not. I mean, the practice, but in the end, it doesn't make much sense, because. And it's also for as a teacher, I can see that, and a teacher is teaching a ready student, because I can't force you to do something. You need to be willing to learn. So it's only then when there is a reciprocity, it has to be reciprocity. So it's the same way. Reciprocity is the recipe for fulfilled life and satisfaction in life. So when there is reciprocity between what you are doing and what it has to be like, okay, what I want and what I'm doing, and then there is this synergy, and then you meet the people, you meet the spaces where you are going to experience reciprocity. So guys, reciprocity, this is the most important, and always remember. So get yourself out of the situations where you don't feel reciprocity. It's the same if you don't like some sports, for example. You force yourself, okay, I need to be active physically. I had the same, like, I don't know, even in dance community, you know, there is, everybody would do something extra, not only dancing. We need to strengthen our bodies, so go to the gym. And I tried to go to the gym many times, and I never stuck with this because it was just not my type of energy. And now I incorporate the strength training. I take a coconut or I take a watermelon and I do something with it and I move, but I activate my muscles organically. But this is my strength training. Or when I go and get fruits, that's also from the market to bring them. That's a strength training. Okay, somebody's writing, nice place, wonderful birds, and an amazing you. Thank you, amazing you as well for writing this comment. Okay, we'll be coming here to an end. Just let me see, because there were questions about the travel itself. What inspired you to travel to Brazil, and how has that experience influenced your work in holistic well-being? So the inspiration came after all the lockdowns that I spent in Berlin, and that was a tough place to be during lockdowns, very strict. And with the cold, there was no other option really than just to stay at home, and that was really difficult for me. I know for many people, but I was really fed up with this, and I didn't want this control anymore. And I knew that being in the city has always this risk of being controlled much more again than going to the wild nature. And I didn't really know how, and like I've never been outside of, well, I've been outside of Europe, but not that far and not alone, and I didn't speak Spanish nor Portuguese, which is an important factor here. I'm telling you. So, and actually I wanted to go to Costa Rica because this was the place to be for many Europeans and Americans, and I wanted to transition to fruitarian diet, to raw vegan diet, and I wanted to go to a tropical place where the abundance of fruit that are matured, that got ripe in this beautiful sun is just completely different level of experience. I didn't know it yet from experience yet, but I was following on YouTube all these people there in Costa Rica mostly. So I was preparing myself to leave for Costa Rica, but then in the meantime, before I bought the ticket, still in Berlin, I met my friend, and she just came back from Brazil, and she just said how amazing Brazil is. And I was like, okay, I start from Brazil because I had no real plans, no fixed plans. I just wanted to go to South America or Central America. I wanted to go to the tropical climate. So Brazil seemed like a great fit, and I wanted to travel up from Brazil, go to the Amazon, then maybe like Ecuador, Colombia, and then follow up to Costa Rica, maybe even Mexico. And yeah, then 3 years later, I was still, like the first time, 2 years later, I was still in Brazil. Year and a half. So yeah, I basically spent the whole time in South America. I spent only in Brazil. So that was the inspiration. Because the longer I was staying, the more fun it was. Because the first time was a little bit like crash, you know, like it was a little bit difficult coming from the city, coming from so different culture, not speaking even a word of Portuguese. Yeah, it's a different dimension. It's a universo paralelo, how they say, parallel universe. And so I started to learn the language. So different codes started to appear. And what was the most influential? You know, so the country is so big. So I feel like it is impossible to control every part of this country. So there is still these places where you can go, like the place where I am right now. There is still so much free land which I want to preserve as well. I want to help with preserving. I'm not saying I'm gonna settle in Brazil, but I I'm thinking about it right now, where I would like to settle and buy the land and start to plant the fruits and create my paradise, part of my paradise, also to preserve more land. This is my idea. So to buy as big of a land as possible and to take care of it with this synchronicity with the nature. So there was the inspiration, and there was another question which I'm gonna follow right away. What unique aspects of Brazilian culture, nature, or traditions have deeply resonated with your embodiment practices? So this is what I wanted to talk right now. Brazilian people, they are dance, they are music, they are rhythm, they are songs. This is how they communicate. This is such a strong part of the culture, and this is what I loved. Because in Europe, it's not like this at all. And I was always a really embodied person, and I always, body intelligence really developed. And I wanted always to combine it with mind. So body, mind, soul, again, it was always within me. And in Europe, I feel much more a concentration, a focus on mind level. So Brazil was really a great change, and I learned so much. And at least a year I spent experimenting and just learning the music, learning to play samba, learning to play pandeiro. You can even, if you scroll down to my Instagram, you would see this attempts of learning dances, even capoeira. I started to train, learning to do songs. So this is so much more embodied culture in general, which doesn't mean it's always aware, right? There's different type of awareness, and also the samba or capoeira or all the other traditional dances, it is coming from different contexts. So what I am doing, I'm bringing again together the traditional approaches from the East, like Indian traditions, which is yoga for me, and then from here, from Brazil, the indigenous culture, the traditional rhythms, shamanic approach, and I'm bringing it to the understanding of the Western mind. So this is what my embodiment is about, and this is also what works for me, because I'm also from the Western culture. So I am this link, I am like this bridge, and the methodology is like this bridge between the mind-oriented culture and how to go. The bridge is how to go into the totality, into the expansion, more sensitivity, because how to really enjoy this place, you need to be capable of enjoying this place fully. So it requires certain preparation, it requires certain type of consciousness, certain type of awareness. And it took me some time, right? Like I really dedicated myself. Also, walking barefoot, I took off the shoes because I was on this island where there is no cars, so I could take off my shoes. And for a year straight, I was walking barefoot. It's a completely different. It's another level of experience of totality and aliveness. So also the elements of the nature, there is so much bigger expansion, because as I mentioned already, even the house, it is an eco-structure, so it is only natural materials, so it feels always there is fresh air coming. And even from here, I'm literally like 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes from the beach, and I can hear the ocean. The currents here are really strong, and the waves are usually strong, and this is my music now. And then you can hear the birds and the colors, right? Like even on this video, I can see, even the camera can capture this quite beautifully. Of course, life is just another experience, because this is the immersion. So that's why you should come here. Love to see you glowing. Thank you. I want to share this glow, and I'm sure you're gonna fall in love in this place, because I'm gonna make sure you're gonna fall in love in this place as well, and in this type of experience. Oh, there are children. coming from school. There's school here also, which is based on more freedom and nonviolent communication. So yeah, there's a lot of beautiful initiatives here. So okay, the Brazil, the dance, the music, nature, that is the aspects of life in Brazil that are influential for my embodiment practices. I have 2 more questions. Let me go through them. What are the biggest lessons you've learned from living close to nature, and how can others apply these lessons to their urban lives? There's a great question I already wrote down here: the cyclical life and the change. So I was mostly living in the area close to the beach on an island, which is of course like just the sea around, and it was actually the first time when I started to understand and I started to live in the synchronicity with the tides, which is the connection with the moon, which is the month cycle, which is my cycle as a woman, which is the women's cycle, right? Which goes to the time of the day as well. So because in these places we don't have artificial light in the streets. I mean in the paths here around. So we always need to have your light. But then if I go to sleep, there is darkness. There is such a beautiful darkness. And then, because to achieve this darkness in the city, I had to cover all the windows. And it is not the same, because then in the morning I was struggling to wake up because there was no light coming to my room, which you can solve if you can program your curtains or whatever fancy thing you have to do this. Then I totally recommend you to do this. So then it opens when the time of your when the day is starting, then it can open and then you can wake up naturally. Here, no issues because there is darkness. And then the tides, this respect for the cyclical life, that if there is a high tide, I cannot pass to the next village. I have to wait. I only can do this when there is low tide. Same here. Also, this is for the fishermen, right? This is mostly for the fishermen, but also for the people that live and need to transport something from one place to another. And very often you have to cross the river. So you can cross the river only during low tide, right? So this respect for cyclical life, and then this respect for changes. So the only constant thing is change. Nothing lasts. And this is so beautiful to observe in the nature, because the sea takes over, right? Very often. So there is a path that we go to the beach, and the path is being taken over slowly. So the people need to create another path a little bit farther from the sea. What else? The rain. Oh my God, there was I think it's also a lot Bahian culture. I think in the cities they're a little bit different. They're more already, they have to arrive to places on time. But at first I didn't understand it, because if in Europe I would not be leaving house when it's raining, I would not leave a house probably for a good part of the year. So there was not an issue, just take an umbrella and you go, right? Here, no. When it's raining, pretty much nobody, especially in the more rural areas, people just don't leave the house, and they even if it's work, they just don't come. And I experienced this many times when I was expecting some renovation maybe happening in the house, and just the workers didn't come, or they come after the rain is stopped. And I started to do the same, because I was living in the place where on the hill, so the hill was getting really slippery, and I was still attending with the massage service massage therapy. And at some point when it was raining, I just was texting the client like, I'm gonna come later, because there is no really it's not possible for me to go out from my house and then to arrive to their place, because their place usually would be in some nicely put area, a nicely put place, but you know, there would be a hill, or it would not be really safe actually to go. So this and so on, I can go on. There's so many things. So I will be talking about this more. I just arrived, so I'm staying at least 6 months in this place. You're welcome here again. I'm gonna make you fall in love in this place. I promise. And the last question was, how does spending time in nature impact your creativity, energy, and overall well-being? Okay, I think you can just see that. Okay, this is how I'm gonna finish this live today. You can just see I become instantly so much alive and vital and happier. Because of all the reasons that I mentioned, that the synchronicity with the nature, the quality of fruit, which is my main fuel if it comes to food, sun, the exposure to sun, and the peace, the serenity of life here. Also the surrounding of the people who are seeking more peace, more quietness. Yeah, this is pretty much this, and this is the biggest glow up you can go through, and this is the really long lasting glow up. Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. This is a little bit longer video, longer live than usually. It's such a great fun to answer all your questions. I'm always happy to answer your questions, so I will be doing these sessions of Q&A more often for sure. This is really cool to do. Oh, let me see, okay, it's the same question. Okay, great. So I answered all of the questions that came to me in time. If you still don't follow here on Instagram, or if you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe button to help me to spread more of holistic well-being knowledge, wisdom, and experience. Join the space of membership where you can this is a sanctuary for your body, mind, soul connection, so I will be delighted to welcome you there. And if you need specific help with your holistic well-being lifestyle, then I'm also offering the free discovery call. So if you are completely lost where to start your holistic well-being journey, this is the choice for you. Otherwise, I see you next time. Thank you, have a great day, and yeah, see you, bye bye.